everything on and then just fire everything up and then get on. And we were able to get on that day, and we stayed on. Me, Mike Barrett, Richard Barrett. I think Magdalene Rose might have chimed in a time or two. And we were on air. We covered the whole thing live. If you want to see what it was like that day in real time as the stuff was happening, go to our YouTube channel. I republished it in high definition this morning, the first hour, and then it links to the second hour. You can see it right there. If you want to see what it was like that day, doing it in real time, you can see it. And you can listen to it. As a matter of fact, the rally has kind of already begun. J.D. Vance is speaking. Maggie, can you hop us over to the... Okay, let's just check in. I just want to assure everybody that we are have our feed here.
Page. We hoped that our opponents would remember that before we are Democrats or before we are Republicans, we are Americans. But sadly, our opponents have not heeded Abraham Lincoln's words and listened to the better angels of our nature. Even after that terrible assassination attempt that took one man's life and nearly took many others, they continue to use dangerous...
I'm going to let J.D. play in the background here. I'm going to bring Magdalene Rose, our campaign affairs correspondent, on. Magdalene, this was a historic day on July the 13th, and the Crusade Channel was here to cover it. We're back here today. I do not anticipate any safety issues happening in Butler, Pennsylvania, but I do anticipate that this is another piece of the timeline, if you will, kind of a marker. There was like, guy goes and gets shot, goes like, you missed, you didn't get me, I'm not afraid of you, I'm going back. I don't know that I would do this, but Donald Trump sure as hell is. How are you? Oh, okay. Well, back to J.D. Vance. Magdalene, we lost our connection.
The truth is that Kamala Harris and her allies, they attack Donald Trump in order to silence us, we the people. They have declared war explicitly on the First Amendment to the United States Constitution. Kamala Harris proudly says she wants to censor the internet, and Tim Walz said there is no guarantee to free speech. What do we think about that? But we all know, my friends, we all know that censorship is only the first step. Just look at everything they've done to President Trump. First, they tried to silence him. When that didn't work, they tried to bankrupt him. When that didn't work, they tried to jail him. And with all the hatred they have spewed at President Trump, it was only a matter of time before somebody tried to kill him. And that's exactly what happened, not just here in Butler, Pennsylvania, but just a few weeks later in Florida. 3 weeks ago, while these guys still go out there and attacking him as a threat to democracy, another gunman armed with an AK-47 style rifle tried to finish the job. In fact, before the gunman in Florida tried to kill Donald Trump, he wrote, quote, "Democracy is on the ballot." The exact same words that Kamala Harris wrote after accusing Trump of being a dictator only days before the first attempt on his life.
And of course, you're listening into and watching on YouTube if you're listening on Crusade Channel, on the radio to the voice of J.D. Vance live in Butler, Pennsylvania. Donald Trump's scheduled to speak at 5 p.m. I'm your host, Mike Church here. I was here that day, and on July the 13th, we were here live, and we're here live because when news breaks out, we break in here on the Crusade Radio Network.
I want to say, you know what's so incredible? You know what's so incredible? It's how Donald Trump responded to all of this. Because despite being shot here in Butler, President Trump immediately called for national unity. And I'll never forget, my friends, what he told me after the second assassination attempt. It was probably the first person that he called that Sunday. And I was sitting at home with my son in Cincinnati, and he said, JD, they tried to do it again. I said, they tried to do what, sir? He said, they tried to shoot me again. And at first, I was in disbelief. I think, immediately my thoughts went to him and how he was doing. Of course, he was physically okay because he was calling me, but I said, sir, are you doing okay? And of course, President Trump, in his President Trump way, said, yeah, I'm doing fine. You know, I'm a little pissed off because I was about to make a dirt birdie on the 6th hole and they wouldn't let me finish. But it made me think. It made me think about the leadership qualities we want in a president of the United States.
By the way, just to contrast what you're hearing from J.D. Vance, this is Kamala Harris earlier today at a rally somewhere, I think it's in Detroit, Michigan. What you're looking for here is she's fluent in the first 5 seconds. The teleprompter freezes. And then for the next 40 seconds, you'll see the difference. And then the teleprompter starts back up. Watch.
Remember his number, 32. Today we got 32 days until the election.
Froze right there. She's going, uh-oh.
So 32 days.
So.
32 days. Okay, we got some business to do. We got some business to do. All right. 32 days. And we know we will do it. And this is going to be a very tight race until the very end. This is going to be a very tight race until the very end. We are the underdog, and we know we have some hard work ahead. Remember his number, 32.
So I don't know if you caught that, but she repeated the same thing 3 times, and there was the look. Where did the prompter go? Because the teleprompter went. Okay, J.D. Vance still speaking. I think we have Magdalene Rose on our Dude Maker hotline once again here. Magdalene, hello.
Hi, how are you?
Hey, I am well. A little bit of fall, upper respiratory something or other. Other than that, ready to go. What's the buzz out there about today?
Well, I think the big deal is that Elon is participating. And I think this is the first time Republicans have had celebrity endorsements that actually matter. Having someone like Kid Rock, it's great at a convention, but it doesn't really move the voters. Having Elon participating, having these tech people show up, it's the first time Trump's been able to win on culture in a while.
Yeah, that is significant. And Elon, I don't know if you've been following him on Twitter. Elon is losing his mind because Starlink has helicopters, their own private helicopters, that they are loading up with Starlink units, and they're trying to get them to the people that need them in the areas that need them in North Carolina. And they were doing it up until yesterday, and now basically FEMA is not giving them landing permission and is telling them to stay out of the airspace. So the Biden regime, it seems, is doing everything it can to torment the people of North Carolina. This doesn't make any sense to me. And what about the huge error today of Secretary of State Anthony Blinken going on Twitter and bragging that they just cut a check for $157 million for Palestinian refugees, while the people of North Carolina are tough. Funding's run out. Too bad, guys. See you next year. Can you believe this?
No, it's ridiculous, but I think that the reason for it is that they don't want to rebuild North Carolina. It's a really nefarious thing in that they don't want North Carolina to vote for Trump, so they're not going to rebuild the deep red counties that were affected, and Trump and Elon know that, and that's why they're trying to lead the charge to help the people there, because not only has Biden abandoned them, but the mainstream media has as well.
Yeah, the only network that I know is there is Newsmax is there, One America News is there, Fox News is there, and then you have your independent guys that are on the ground doing the best they can to go in and deliver stuff. I don't know why, but I want to say that Glenn Beck is there. Is the Blaze there? I think the Blaze is actually there. I think I saw that. But yeah. I didn't want to go out on the limb and go like they don't want Trump to win North Carolina and they want to do damage to the western counties, which are not red, they're crimson, and so they're not going to help these people. That's just like, that wars get started over less than that.
They do, but I think that's what's happening because it doesn't make any sense. Whenever there's an area that's affected by hurricanes, it's one of the few things where the country comes together. Even in past hurricanes, you've seen Biden praise DeSantis and say everything ran very well and there was no politicization of what was happening. But with this, it just doesn't make any sense. Why would you abandon a swing state unless you knew you had no ground game, which is true of Kamala Harris's team. They do not have a great ground game in North Carolina. And you know they're going to swing for your opponents. That's the only reason not to care about this. It would be a massive win. Instead, Kamala Harris is going on the Call Her Daddy podcast, which is really baffling because if there's a place that's unpresidential, it is that podcast. But she's going after female voters so much, she's sort of breaking the norms of where to even speak to people.
What is this now? The Call Your Daddy podcast?
Call Her Daddy podcast. So there was a massive Spotify deal for the host, Alex Cooper. And this is a podcast that's listened to by millions of women in America and around the world. It's very edgy stuff. It's about relationships and everything like that. And it was announced that she's going to be on. For example, this is the kind of podcast that you have a celebrity singer go on. So you would have someone like Ariana Grande go on. I don't know if she has, but it's that kind of audience. And they do long format questions. I think it's over an hour. So this podcast host is going to get an hour pretty much with Kamala Harris. And the focus they've said is on reproductive rights. There'll be an entire hour discussing abortion.
An entire hour discussing killing babies.
Yes.
And you want the presidency. And you want the presidency.
Yes.
How,
it's ridiculous.
It's beyond ridiculous. And again, I saw the Real Clear Politics average. It was 47.2, 47.2. Swing state, Real Clear, Michigan, let me get this right. RCP Michigan average, if you took all the polls, 47.2 Harris, 47.2 Trump. Historically speaking, in the last 64 years, if a Democrat is not winning outside above the margin of error, 40 days to election day, they lose. So this is 32 days today. She's in a dead heat with Trump, according to New York Times, Fox Siena.
Yeah.
The Fox Siena poll. She is in a dead heat. Rasmussen has Trump up nationwide, about 5-6, depends on which day, and in most swing states outside the margin of error here. Harris said today she was the underdog. When the teleprompter froze, she got stuck on, there's no need to fear, underdog. Well, she probably doesn't remember the cartoon. All right, J.D. Vance is leaving the stage, folks. 4:43 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Donald Trump's scheduled to hit the stage at 4 p.m. We're not going to cover the opening because YouTube will kill our video because they will hear Lee Greenwood. So we'll just kind of hang out here and talk about this. I'd never heard of this Call Her Daddy podcast.
Yeah, it's massive. It's really massive. And I know there was a lot of, I think originally it was two hosts or a group of hosts, and the lead on it, a woman named Alex, there was some conflict and she edged them out. And she has this, it's a giant podcast studio. Whenever someone wants to promote an album, they go on it. There's a huge fanfare around it. A lot of fictionalized podcast hosts are based on it now on shows for young adults and teens. And she's going to be on there. She's going to be talking about reproductive rights. I mean, that's what they label it, but it's really just protecting abortion. And I think that this is showing that just as Trump is going after the young male vote by going on all the shows Senator Barron suggested, Kamala Harris is going the other way, and she's going to go on all the shows that I'm sure her stepdaughter Ella Emhoff. This is the exact thing Ella Emhoff watches and listens to and binges. She's going to do what Trump's doing, but in reverse.
So he only went on one. He went on the show Kick, right?
He went on that, but he's also gone on smaller podcasters. He's spoken to Jake and Logan Paul, all the sort of people that Barron Trump has said. And he was on a show where he talked about Barron's influence. And he said that he was doing this because Barron suggested these are the people Barron listens to. And it's been very helpful to his campaign.
Yeah, Magdalene Rose, our political and campaign affairs correspondent on the Dude Maker hotline here with us. Now, let's talk about what happened yesterday afternoon. If you want to talk about things that are unprecedented and that you shake your head and go like, well, I never saw that one coming. Kamala Harris was scheduled to speak to a labor union, which, by the way, an international firefighters workers union, for the first time in decades, decided they weren't going to endorse anyone, but they always endorse Democrats. So she did not. That's another union endorsement that went, yeah, I think we're going to sit this one out. So she's scheduled to go on 2 p.m. Eastern time yesterday, or 2:05 or whatever it is. Maybe it was 2:10. At 2:06 p.m., I was sitting here watching. I was in here working, and I had the news, Fox News playing in the background. And I look, and they're going like, and they cut to Biden. And I went like, that was kind of awkward. And up in the left-hand corner box, it said live. And I went, why is Biden live on a Friday afternoon? So I tuned it in, and he was droning on about how great the economy is, and it's all because of him. And he kept saying, and Kamala was with me every step of the way. Kamala and I did these policies. I don't know if he was setting the T-ball up for Trump to go like, okay, dude, I set you up. I'm telling the world that she was in on all the things you say are disastrous. But the real upshot is she was going to get live coverage on all the cable nets. And instead, they had to go to Biden. He usurped her. He totally, no pun intended, trumped her.
He definitely did. And I think that the Biden group, the Biden core people, they're a little frustrated because he's the one who's supposed to have saved the world by besting Donald Trump. He's the one who did all those things. And yes, he's just been pushed to the side. They're not even talking about his legacy anymore. We went from he should be on Mount Rushmore from Nancy Pelosi, that great quote, to we don't really talk about him anymore. We don't even need him on the campaign trail. Who cares what Biden's up to? Biden is a vindictive person. He always has been. He's not a nice guy. Maybe he's nice to his supporters. I don't doubt that. But he's been vicious in politics for like 100 years. So I'm not surprised that he did that. And I think that there's probably a real lack of coordination and cooperation between the Biden administration and the Kamala Harris campaign, which can only help us because Biden had a ground game set up way before Kamala even knew she was supposed to.
There is a headline at thefederalist.com comparing Helene to Katrina suggests Americans are left to die because Democrats run the White House. You know, I was talking about this on yesterday's radio show on the Crusade Radio Network, Magdalene, and I was saying, look, I remember, I've been at this for 33 years. I have a long memory. I remember after Katrina, then freshly elected Senator Obama went on Meet the Half-Court Press when Tim Russert was still alive. And Obama was indignant about the response, and he said, of course, it was all because New Orleans was filled with black people. And that and that all the rich white people outside of New Orleans couldn't conceive of the fact that people that were stuck in the city could just hop in their car, go down the street, and fill their SUV up with gas. Well, I just happened to be one of the people that was outside of New Orleans, and I couldn't hop in my car and go drive down the street and fill it up with gas because there wasn't any. So, but I remember the entirety of the Democrat Party descended upon George W. Bush because of his response to Katrina. And it was almost like, I want to say that some of them in Congress were talking impeachment. It was so bad that about 10 days after Katrina, those of you that are old enough to remember this, Bush went to New Orleans and gave a speech promising that the city of New Orleans would be rebuilt and the federal government was going to help. And he did it with with St. Louis Cathedral in Jackson Square as his background. That's how much pressure the Democrats and the media had put on the Bush administration. He wasn't really a lame duck, but he couldn't run for re-election. It was 2005. He'd already beaten John Kerry. So there is a precedent of FEMA and presidents blowing the aftermath of hurricanes, and the American people and even the media that they hate and hates them rallying to their side going like, okay, well, this is an injustice and it must be righted. But you're right. This is not happening anywhere in the Malachian satanic media, the MSM, is it?
No, it's not. And I think that there's two parts of that. It is pretty much a few days to an election. So we have a focus on what is important amongst viewers, what advertisers want to have themselves tied to. So there is that, which is relevant. But the other side of that is they don't want to rebuild North Carolina. And I don't say that lightly. It just doesn't make any sense otherwise. Why else would you abandon a swing state? Why else would you do that?
I have no idea.
Unless you knew it wasn't a swing state. Unless you knew you were at the point with North Carolina where it wasn't a swing state. And any help to rebuild it would just be helping to reignite red votes. To me, that's all that makes sense here. And it makes sense to other Republicans as well. I'm not the only person who said that. I've seen other commentators mention it because the sheer lack of focus. Everyone knows that Anderson Cooper on CNN loves a moment where he could be blown away by the wind or holds onto a palm tree or something.
That's right. He loves it.
So,
wait a minute. Magdalene, quickly. Anderson Cooper is a Vanderbilt. The Vanderbilts built the Biltmore House.
Yeah.
He has a tie.
Yeah. Doesn't matter. Where are they? Why doesn't he care? Because he's been told, leave it alone so those deep red counties don't vote for Donald Trump and Kamala Harris can be president. There's nothing that rules a media person more than being told what to do because they love the ratings. They love getting an Emmy for being on the edge. You know those videos where they debunked that the Weather Channel was actually covering things and they found out because the currents were going the wrong way? That's what goes on. And yet they're not covering the hurricane.
Yeah, and this is from Elon just about 2 hours ago. Just received this note from a SpaceX engineer helping on the ground in North Carolina. FEMA is not merely failing to adequately... Now, by the way, Magdalene, 121 million people have viewed this tweet. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sorry, that was another one. 34.4 million views on this. Still, that's more than CBS. We'll watch the CBS Nightly News tonight. Just to compare. That's more people than will watch all three network news combined and 60 Minutes tomorrow night with Kamala on it combined.
It definitely is.
At FEMA is not merely failing to adequately help people in trouble, but is actively blocking citizens who try to help. Hey, Elon, update here on the site of Asheville, North Carolina. We have powered up 2 largely operating bases for choppers to deliver goods into hands. We've deployed 300-plus Starlinks and outposts. It has saved many lives. The big issue is FEMA is actively blocking shipments and seizing goods and services locally and locking them away to state they are their own. It's very real and scary how much they have taken control to stop people helping. We are blocked now on the shipments of new Starlinks coming in until we get an escort from the fire department, but that may not be enough. So that's just one example here. I don't know if they realize that they're messing with the wrong guy and they're messing with the wrong people. He actually does own a media network and he actually can tell people what you're doing. But maybe it is that this is maybe this is the Jill Biden, Lady McBiden's October surprise for Harrison Waltz.
Maybe it is. And it could be because in a lot of ways, I think that Trump is sort of operating outside of politics right now. He's out there engaging with Elon Musk. And we've discussed this. It really does seem like Trump and Elon Musk are running the country. And DeSantis to some extent when he can help.
Yep.
And it's so odd because Biden spends all of his time on a beach in Delaware, and yet Trump is there coordinating, and Elon's on the ground, and DeSantis is sending the guardsmen he doesn't need to Georgia to help out there. What exactly are Democrats doing? Who is helping them? What are they providing? And that's a question I think Trump should be asking. He should be saying, when a disaster strikes, do you feel that the Democrats in any way, shape, or form assist you? Or do you think, Trump and Elon and DeSantis will take care of it, and RFK Jr. will provide some knowledge when it comes to food and safety? That's what's happening here. So why not just elect those people if they're already running the country?
You're not going to get an argument from me. Mike Church here with Magdalene Rose, counting down to the Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. Magdalene taking a little time out of her Saturday afternoon, and so am I, and so are you for hanging out with us. By the way, if you want to know what it was like on July the 13th, 2024 in Butler, Pennsylvania. We were on air 6 minutes after the bullets rang out, and we stayed on for almost 3 hours. And you can watch all of that on our YouTube channel, Crusade Radio Network. I republished one of them today, so it would be at the top of the page so you guys could find it. And, of course, we'll cover this one live. I want to switch gears because I had to cut you off yesterday when we were talking about Melania. One more thing. Really, really very, very well done. Where Corey Comparatori was sitting, Magdalene, they roped it off. They got like a mannequin kind of thing. They put his fireman's jacket on it with Buffalo, that's the county, Comparatori. Got his fire chief helmet on the top of that, and is surrounded by flowers. So exactly where Corey Comparatori was sitting. Yeah, that'll kind of remind people of just what actually did happen that day. No, it wasn't fake, Joy Reid. They tried to kill him. But in any event, going back to our discussion that we had about Melania's book, I've had now 30 hours to digest this. And the more I think about it, the more conspiracy theories just keep popping into my head. And I keep going like, why? Why? This book is about your career as a model. Why?
Yeah.
Why on earth? I think they put that in there. I think that this was a recent addition, but they sure as hell didn't get her to go and cut the video.
No,
because she
didn't.
sure did sit down for the video and said it. By the way, Kamala Harris is in North Carolina. She's in Charlotte right now. Hold on. Let me just check this out real quick.
Disaster. And any minute now, former.
Okay, I don't know what she's doing there. At any event, any further insight on why they did this? Not that she's not the candidate. By the way, somebody looked this up. The last pro-life first lady was Nancy Reagan. Yeah. Nancy Reagan. Hillary, of course, 2 terms. She was a pro-abort. Most people didn't know. George W. Bush's wife, Laura Bush, rabidly pro-abort, pro-choice over the daughters, the Bush twins, Jenna and whatever the other one's name is. Of course, you know Obama for 8 years. And then we had Trump for 4 years. We didn't know anything about Trump. We just knew she was baptized, confirmed Slovenian Catholic. We all assumed that she was wonderful, pretty, and holy and all that. Didn't know she was pro-abort. But now for the past 8 years, Melania and now Lady McBiden here. So, and if Trump is reelected, Melania will go back in as pro-choice. So we don't have women that are representing life at the highest echelons in politics. And even though they're not president, they are there and they do play a role in the White House. That's number one, that's sad. It's really tragic and sad. Who is America's mother? Where's Phyllis Schlafly at? She died. That's who we need, a Phyllis Schlafly. We don't have one. And we all thought the Melania was it. I'm just, quite frankly, kind of heartbroken by this.
Yeah, and a lot of people are. And I mentioned the fact that the young Catholic Instagrammers who I follow up for a personal reason, just because I like their content or I find them inspiring, who never talk about politics, are like, this is bad. This is not cool. This is a bad role model to have. And I think that if we think back to the campaign trail for Republican nominees, so many people made fun of Casey DeSantis, and they were so vicious to her. They were like think pieces about her hair. That woman is very pro-life.
She sure is.
That woman is very interested in supporting, especially adoption, for making it easier to adopt for Americans within America. She's been very focused on that, on trying to empty the foster care system so those children of all ages have homes. And I think that we got to a place of such viciousness in the Republican Party that we didn't look at the package of the candidates, because we could have not trashed DeSantis in a way so that he could still be viable in the future. We could have rehabilitated that a little bit because he has a pro-life wife. And a lot of people, what I've seen is sort of the snarky reason why she did this is to sort of hedge her bets. So if Trump loses, she's not the pro-life super Christian wife of a failed presidential candidate. She's Melania, liberated and fun and ready to mingle. And it's that kind of thing. She did not want to be bogged down by being super conservative because she's not. She's in New York. Barron's going to school in New York. This is her exit strategy in case he's not reelected.
Well, she could have just said nothing. But it seems to me, though, that, okay, a couple of things. We know after the assassination attempt, we know that they stopped the press. The book was supposed to come out in August. They stopped the presses on the book, and then she wrote the other stuff about when they tried to kill my husband. I was heartbroken, and I just could not believe that anyone would do such a thing in America. So we got the soft teas in August and September. I think that they thought that after Trump was that after they went, I would be willing to bet you, Magdalene Rose. You can quote me right here on the 5th of November. Remember, the 5th of November. I'm sorry, the 5th of October. The 5th of October, 2024. I'm getting ahead of myself. On the 5th of October, 2024, I'm willing to bet that in the draft of that book that was going to be published in August, that line and that page is not in it.
Yeah.
This
I would say it
is a campaign ploy. We know all the publishers. It doesn't matter who they are. Steinman und Schuster, Random House, Doubleday. It doesn't matter who they are unless my friends over at Defiance Press and Shotwell Publishing, and of course your Christian booksellers, Sophia Institute, TAN, and all those other great people. They're great. They do really great work publishing great books, and we love all of them and thank them all for their work. But I would be willing to wager you that maybe they did enlist Melania. And look, if he loses, your social life is over. The only way you're going to have a social life is if you come out and be one of those socialites, because they're all pro-aborts. That's how they become socialites. And if they sold that to her, and she actually bought that with the presidency on the line for her husband, as I said, I can't read any good into this. When Trump was asked about it by Bill Melugin, he very briefly flinched, or kind of winced, and then answered, well, yeah, we talked about it, and he kind of like threw his hands up. I don't think he did. I don't think he knew.
No, I would doubt he knew. Because if Trump knows something and doesn't care about it, he's like, yeah, I know and I don't care. Or I knew and it doesn't matter to me. He's very upfront about it. He didn't know. And I think that even amongst his family members, you can see the ones who are truly loyal. Do I think Don Jr. makes the best strategic decisions all the time? No. But is he loyal? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And there are people in his family who are completely loyal, make mistakes. Do I think Laura Trump has made all the right choices? No, but she's completely loyal. But people like Melania, I mean, they're kind of like fair weather friends. She could have done more as First Lady. In 2020, she could have done more to campaign. We've sort of made excuses for her. And the agreement between her and Republicans has been, just stay in your lane, take care of your son, we'll defend you as a mother. Just don't hurt him. Don't hurt him.
Stay in your lane,
we're all trying to protect him. Yeah, we're all trying to protect him. Just stay in your lane. And she's not doing that anymore. So it's kind of like, why are we protecting you against the left? Why are we defending you when you can't even just be quiet about this one issue? Nobody asked her. It wasn't a question.
Magdalene, let's and by the way, they're getting ready to start here. Trump is there. Or he's not on stage court because he's always late because he has to make a grand entrance. Quickly, if it was known, think of the women that are in the campaign. Do you think that Sarah Huckabee Sanders wouldn't have thrown a conniption fit over this?
Yeah.
Do you think that his attorney, the wonderful, who is a devout pro-lifer, Alana Habba, do you think Alana Habba wouldn't have said, don't do it? What are you doing? Yeah. I even think that Lara Trump might have said, that's unfortunate, that's stupid, don't do that. What about the guy who was the former head of the Republican Party, who was the RNC chairman? What's his name?
Wheatley.
Mike Wheatley. Would Mike Wheatley have said, don't do it? Don't do it.
Absolutely.
Let the book come out after let it come out as a Thanksgiving Christmas book. So I'm filled with conspiracy theories, but Melania didn't have to go along with it. She cut the video. And at this point, again, I think my proper word is heartbroken. And I know I'm not alone. A lot of people are going like, what? Why? Who did this? Now, I don't think at the end of the day it's going to matter. I don't think it's going to matter. I think, though, that the divorce is still there. There's a possibility of the Republican Party divorcing the pro-lifers and the pro-life crowd. And if they survive this election and win, having said this, and with the blunder in Detroit with the IVF mandate and all that, what reason have the American people given them to hold their feet to the fire on life?
Well, there isn't a reason, and that's always been our fear. That's always been the Catholic fear and the Christian fear altogether, is that when the Republican Party leaves pro-lifers, the whole movement will crumble. Trump is right in that he delivered pro-lifers. Nobody denies that. But you don't get to do a bunch of stuff and then quit. It's not like you meet your quota for being a good pro-lifer. It's an endless battle against evil. That's kind of the agreement here. I think Trump doesn't always understand that.
Yeah, the woman that was there, I forget her name. The day.
30 days out from the presidential election.
Magdalene, she was there. She was there when Trump was shot. I can't remember her name.
Pennsylvania. Shannon.
Gosh, Alexis, it seems so much.
Alexis, I can't remember her last name, but she was actually there. As a matter of fact, she's the one that went to the dude's house the night of, when they had the white van surrounded that was supposed to have the bombs in it. Because remember, most people have dropped this, a lot of what went on here. My buddy George Webb is still, he's at Slaughter Pin Part 21 now, and is still trying to, they still haven't caught, we still have 2 known sniper terrorists in the United States that are known quantities and were admitted in by the Biden administration. Speaking of that, as we await Donald Trump coming to the stage here live at Butler, Pennsylvania, I don't think that there's that anyone that is following any of the news, because, CBS News even had to run with the story about the criminals that were admitted in by the DHS and the Biden regime. I don't think that they squash. I don't think the MSN was able to squash that story. I think most people now know, and especially as most people people may forget. Sure, maybe only 20% of Americans have a Twitter account or are on Twitter. I've seen a lot of Elon stuff and a lot of stuff about Starlink and a lot of stuff about the Cajun Navy and real average American people going to help people out. Magdalene, it's on TikTok. That's a young people's platform. It's all over. The Cajun Navy's all over TikTok.
It is all over TikTok.
So I don't think that, and the news, these stories, the old clips of Mayorkas. I watched one today of him. It's admitting that the 2025 money had the FEMA money had $325 million in it, or the 2024 money had $325 million in it for relocation or whatever of illegal aliens. You know who passed that appropriation? Mike Johnson?
No. Yeah.
If you want to blame someone, blame Speaker Johnson and the Congress. The CR had the funding for the relocation of the illegal aliens. Maybe they didn't have a chance to read it. I don't know. But it sure as hell was in it, and they sure as hell voted for it.
They did, and I think Speaker Johnson has been a really big reason why we've had a lack of cohesion amongst Republican Party messaging. He doesn't know what he's doing, and I think he should admit that, and if he did, someone could help him. But at this point, the more he just sort of muddles along, it makes us look like we don't have a policy platform. There is no Newt Gingrich Contract with America thing coming out right now. It's just sort of like whatever Trump says, we try out. And that might work because Kamala Harris is such a bad candidate. But in hindsight, it wasn't a good thing to bet on.
Right now on the White House lawn, as they're waiting for Trump to come out, concern grows over Biden admin's Helene response. There is no Helene response. They're hogging hotel rooms up for actual aid workers. One guy went and put a video on X yesterday, I had to sleep in my car. I voluntarily slept in my car. I couldn't get a room because all the rooms were taken by FEMA people. Wait, here's Biden.
Okay, so Shannon, he says he'll be talking to a bunch of them. He didn't say what he's going to do to commemorate it specifically. He's also dealing with that hurricane cleanup in several southern states, devastating circumstances there. It'll take years to get back to normal in some cases. Yesterday, he made his way, as I said, to the briefing room for the first time as president to answer questions and address that tragedy from Helene and what it's going to cost.
Well, no, he didn't address that tragedy. He made his way to that room to stick a red-hot poker in Kamala Harris's eye. Okay, folks, we are awaiting President Trump's arrival here at Butler, Pennsylvania, the site of the shooting on the 13th of July, 2024 of this year. As soon as he gets to the stage, we will go live, and we will carry the whole thing live here on the Crusade Radio Network. We are live on X.com and live on our Crusade Radio Network YouTube channel as well. Joined by Magdalene Rose, our campaign affairs correspondent. I haven't seen in the last week, and I know they're doing stuff, but I really haven't seen them. And I don't know if the Trump campaign is dispatching them into swing state areas where they play well or what, but I haven't seen Nicole Shanahan in 2 weeks.
No, I haven't either. And I think that's because of the scandals coming out around RFK Jr. This Olivia Nuzzi thing, I mean, they're both adults. It's a bad story, but I don't think it's as disgusting as what we normally see in politics. But it has sort of taken the wind out of the sails of the RFK thing, because the media had a real fascination around RFK Jr. They thought it was interesting. And then to find out he was in this inappropriate, either virtual or semi-virtual relationship with Olivia Nuzzi, and the fact that her fiance is a big deal, Politico, it's become a very DC-involved story. And I think Nicole Shanahan wants to stay out of that, so she's taken a step back from it a little bit.
I think that, if you read the nuts and bolts of that story, that woman that was it the New Yorker, right? She was with the New Yorker.
I think so. I think it's New York or the New York Post, or New York Magazine.
Whatever it was, and then her husband is with Politico. The way that story kind of broke, and the way that it was handled, just again screamed to me that there was some complicity here. That I don't know what RFK Jr. He is a Kennedy after all, so I don't know what if Uncle Ted's genes are flowing into RFK Jr. They all watch out. I don't know what happened, and I read an entire piece about that at the Federalist. But the way I read into the story, it just seemed to me that they set him up, and that she played along with it. And then when it was discovered to forward her career, she went, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll just go ahead and admit to it." Maggie, what was the documentary we were watching about the Dr. Death dude, where the journalist from the from the New York Times, wound up having an affair with the dude who was doing was not the larynx, the esophagus. The esophagus that they were growing in the test tube. Come to find out, he wasn't growing them. They didn't work. And she had a fling-ding with him. And this is a real story. It was called Dr. Death, but I'm trying to remember which newspaper she worked for. But when her editor found out that she had been writing this piece about this doctor who supposedly had this miracle cure where if you had throat cancer, you could cut part of your esophagus out, of your trachea out, and they were growing replacements in a lab, right? And supposedly it was working. It was a miracle and it was saving people's lives, only it wasn't. So she had a consensual affair with this guy, and who was it? Mandy, no, that's Mandy Moore played her. Well, when her editor found out that she was doing that, she was terminated on the spot, and they were at a party. She fired her right there on the spot. And the first thing she goes, you know what, the story, to the source. You don't ever do that with the source. The fact that the woman from the New Yorker was doing whatever with the source, they want to throw it all on RFK Jr., she is just as despicable as he is. That is a gross breach of ethics. So again, was he set up? I don't know. Again, we're awaiting President Trump to show up here at this rally and to make his entrance. He's supposed to be at 5 Eastern. It is now 5:13. And C-SPAN, they're doing what we're doing. They're trading water and killing time. So we're talking with Magdalene Rose about the latest of what's going on with the campaign and with the recovery efforts in North Carolina and in Tennessee. They have a body count today in Tennessee, and I want to say 100 and some odd people are still missing, and 32 or something like that dead. So the hardest place, the place that was hardest to hit was certainly North Carolina. And again, why didn't I don't know. Okay, she's in Charlotte, North Carolina. Charlotte is probably an hour and a half drive to Asheville. It's very treacherous mountain roads. You probably can't get there from Charlotte. Unless they're going to helicopter her in there. So I don't know. Is she going to the? Because she was there the other day, and made her little comments, and then flew off out of there before anyone could ask her any questions. Do you know why she's there?
I don't, but I know that she's been doing fundraisers up and down the South. So it might have something to do with that. She might be trying to tour hurricane damage. But I think the problem with Kamala Harris right now is even if she was there with supplies in hand, we all look at it and we're like, why weren't you there a few days ago? Why weren't you there then? Why now? And it's that delayed reaction. I actually have to go put Bennett down for a nap, but I will be doing the Twitter and Facebook Live coverage of the rally.
All right, Magdalene, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Have a good day.
Okay, we're gonna we'll keep it tuned right here as we await President Trump. You can join us in our live chat rooms at crusadechannel.com /chat, and on the YouTube. Find us at the Crusade Radio Network, and we're getting updates on the. In both of the chat rooms, again, as we await President Trump here to make his entrance. Other things that are happening out there today. The war in Israel continues on. If you didn't see it earlier, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken tweeted out that he was happy to announce that the Biden regime was appropriating $175 million for aid to Palestine, or for Palestinian aid. People are looking at this going like, there's no way. Nobody, are you trying? Are you trying to anger these people? I mean, because if you are, then that's one way to go about doing it. And saying that the State Department and the Biden regime was happy to announce this, going like, you just sent your Department of Homeland Security guy, you just sent him out 2 days ago to say we're out of money. FEMA's out of money. You've gotten everything you're going to get. And telling the people in North Carolina, yeah, sucks to be you. I have a song by that title. And then to come out today and say that you found the checkbook that's in the drawer underneath in the president's desk that Nicolas Cage found in National Treasure, and you cut a check to not that I have anything against aid to Palestinian refugees. I think that people ought to do that, and not governments. But be that as it may, I can't stop that. You're going to give, and you're going to, and they didn't just do it. They announced it. They announced it like, hey, we're doing this, as if to say, yeah, we have we got a lot of money laying around. We got a lot of people across the world we need to take care of. You couldn't find $175 million laying around to just to the people of North Carolina who go like, yeah, that's really cool. Thank you. 'Twas not to be. All right, it's Mike Church here with you here on the Crusade Radio Network. As we await President Trump to take to the dais, we're going to take a quick time out and come back with our live coverage of his historic return to Butler, Pennsylvania, as we cover it live here on the Crusade Radio Network, live talking campaign radio the way it should be. Okay, back with our live coverage of the Trump event in Butler, Pennsylvania. Last time he was here, he got shot at. Eric Trump is now on the stage, and I believe the president is coming shortly hereafter. So we're going to go live to Eric Trump here in Butler, Pennsylvania. Mike Church here on the Crusade Radio Network. If you enjoy us working on Saturdays and rely on us for your campaign, politics, and cultural coverage, make a donation, crusadechannel.com/donate, or tap that dollar button at the bottom of the YouTube chat.
Turn over in the morning and not talk about voter integrity. But she's doing a hell of a job. Ladies and gentlemen, Laura Trump.
All right, Pennsylvania. Is anybody here ready to send Donald J. Trump back to the White House? Well, we're 31 days away. 1 month from right now, as Donald Trump always says, will be the most important day in the history of America, because this is a pivotal moment for our country. And I don't even have to tell anybody that here. We can all feel it. This is no longer a fight between Republican versus Democrat, left versus right. It is good versus evil. And good is going to win this battle, ladies and gentlemen. And if you had any question whether God exists and he performs miracles, we got our answer here on July 13th, right here in Butler, Pennsylvania. He spared Donald Trump's life because he was not finished with Donald Trump. And he did it not once, but twice. And I've said it time and time again, but now you feel it more than ever. Donald Trump was made for such a time as this. It's such an honor to be back here in Butler. And you know, I knew before Donald Trump even said he wanted to come back here that he would come back to Butler, Pennsylvania, because in life, you can operate with fear and cowardice, or you can operate with strength and faith. And that's what Donald Trump operates with, strength and faith. And that's the kind of leader we need to see back at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. We need strength in this country. And Eric's right. I've been doing a little something with making sure that we have free, fair, and transparent elections, and that only legal citizens are voting in our elections here in the United States of America. That's okay. It's been the #1 focus of the RNC since I took over alongside our chairman, Michael Whatley, back in March. We have had a big goal of recruiting 100,000 people to volunteer as poll watchers, poll workers, legal experts on the ground. And we said, I don't know, 100,000 is a lot. I'm happy to report that we have trained 200,000 people across this country to do that. So our message is very clear. If you are a person who is considering cheating in our elections, we will find you. We will track you down, and we will prosecute you to the full extent of the law. And if you're an illegal citizen voting in our election, we'll track you down and prosecute you to the full extent of the law, and you're leaving this country. How's that sound? Don't do it. It's not worth it. But real quick, before I go, is everybody in this crowd registered to vote? Well, it could be that you've heard of someone who's been doing so much voter registration right here in Pennsylvania. His name is Scott Pressler. And he has done an incredible job. We have flipped Bucks County and Luzerne County from Democrat to Republican in terms of voter registration. And I would like to invite my friend Scott Pressler to come up and say a few words to you folks. If you would welcome him, please, to the stage right now. wore shorts for us today, so check out his legs. Look at this. Yes.
I wish I didn't wear shorts today. Mom and Dad, I honor you on the stage today, Captain Robert Pressler and my mom, Carol Pressler. Pennsylvania, you have the power to change the world. Pennsylvania wins the White House, and so please, I ask you today, please check your voter status, make sure you're an active voter registered at your current address, and please visit vote.pa.gov and register to vote today. A message to our union workers: we want your vote. We want to keep jobs here in America. To our beautiful Amish and Lancaster and across the state, we will protect your raw milk, your dairy, your farming, your school choice, your religious freedom, your ability to afford to have 10 beautiful children per family. To our hunters, 30% of you are not registered to vote. Please, our hunters, support the Second Amendment, register to vote. To our truckers that service us every single day, please request a mail-in ballot or vote early, lock in those votes. To our sorority sisters and our fraternity brothers, please, you have the power. If you're going to school here in Pennsylvania, register to vote legally and lawfully here in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I feel this from the top of my head to the tip of my toes. I love our great country. President Trump took a bullet for us. Please use your ballot and have his back on Tuesday, November 5th, and deliver Pennsylvania for Donald J. Trump. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, before we go, what we're going to do here today, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going to make a new memory in Butler, Pennsylvania. And this will mark the moment that this election was won for Donald J. Trump. Let's send him back to the White House on November 5th. We love you, Pennsylvania. Thank you. God bless.
And welcome to our coverage of Donald J. Trump's triumphant return to Butler, Pennsylvania. You just heard Eric Trump and Lara Trump and Scott Pressler, who was at the People's Convention in Detroit when I was there in June. As a matter of fact, Scott was just a couple of feet down. He was 2 booths away. And I didn't get a chance to interview him, but it's not that he didn't want to do it, because he told me he did, just couldn't make the time. So in any event, you heard the news that they flipped 2 counties that were Democrat counties through voter registration in Pennsylvania. They set a goal for 100,000 campaign workers, poll workers, watchers, etc. They found 200,000. I wish I could find 2 people that wanted to work in live broadcasting. If that's you, you have our contact info. Send me an email. You're hired. Seriously. As we await President Trump, he's probably coming, that I had to jump in and play our Constitution theme movie from my movie, The Spirit of 76. So, because we own that, it's not, there's no copyright issue with it. If we publish this video on YouTube with Lee Greenwood on it, dude, you might as well go to Lee Greenwood's house and drag him out in the middle of the night and his jammies and his slippers and beat him in front of his neighbors. You get off easier than playing I'm Proud to Be an American on YouTube without permission. Because that's what will happen. All right, there's all kind of people running around there. I assume that there's nothing untoward. So I'm just checking out the what's going on. And we have been here all afternoon and have been awaiting President Trump to show up and give this talk. Basically, he's just going to finish what he started on July the 13th, 2024, before Thomas Matthew Crooks was able to get up on that roof and get those shots off. Secret Service agents now filing in and looking up at the crowd. And now there's a dude at the dais. Not sure what's going on. I guess they're checking the microphones and all that stuff as they get ready. A lot goes into doing a live event. Most people don't think about it. Looks like Trump must have... Okay, there's Melania.
That's not Melania.
Who is that?
Some other person.
Not Melania. Someone that looks like... Not sure who that is. Swap the video over. There's J.D. Vance. You can see all that is happening there. Okay, that's not Lee Greenwood that is playing there, so I'm not sure. I guess Trump is there and is about to take the stage. And now they're going to play a little Donna Summer there, hot stuff, and I suppose President Trump will then take to the stage. You can see the picture there live. There's more media coverage here. And I told the story on the radio show on Friday. I guess I could tell all you guys the story again, since we're all gathered closely together and comfy and what have you here on a Saturday afternoon. The most filmed space shuttle launch. Guess which one it was? Wasn't the first one, wasn't the last one, wasn't one that began a historic mission. The most filmed space shuttle launch ever was the one after the Challenger explosion. And was that 1986? And I had a friend who was a space nerd who used to go to all the space shuttle launches, and he would take his 8mm camera before there, or his videotape. Maybe by the mid 80s, he might have had a video camera, but he would go there to go film the launches. And he actually was there the day of the Challenger, but he just filmed the blast off and then cut his cameras off because nobody knew what was going to happen. Nobody knew that was going to happen. So when they finally figured out what went wrong. And if you don't know, there was a great book written in the early 1990s called The Asbestos Racket. I interviewed the guy in 1992, first year I was on there. Look at that picture of that aerial shot. Maggie has an aerial shot that you could see the setup at Butler, Pennsylvania, and you could see the crowd. The field house is completely filled. And the house also is completely filled, all the area behind. They said that there were 60,000 people trying to get in earlier, we heard. In any event, my friend Don went to go to the launch of the first space shuttle after the Challenger. And, of course, if it bleeds, it leads media, was there. With hundreds of camera crews that were never there before because they were all there to film the thing in case it blew up again. So they were there for the carnage. So I'd imagine today that all of the news entities, this is a media coup, by the way. This is an advertising coup. There's a couple 8-digit buys, advertising buys, because you're going to get on every news network tonight. A former president, they tried to kill him. He survived. He was out campaigning, and he survived that assassination attempt. He defiantly goes back to the place. Even the networks that hate Trump have to cover that. And so they are going to cover that, and they're going to probably give 2- and 3-minute packages tonight, showing the crowd and the fact that he went and all that. You can't, that's like buying an ad on the CBS Evening News. It's like buying an ad on the ABC Evening News. It's like buying an ad on the NBC or whatever your network and on your local station's news. That's an ad buy and the tens of millions of dollars. So when people go like, I don't understand, why would you do that? Well, that's why you would do it. That's a really good self-motivating reason of why you would do it. And again, as we await him to take the stage and to begin this rally, which he is supposed to start at 5 Eastern. It is now 5:53 Eastern, so he's fashionably late, just an hour. And we're going to cut back to, let's see, is there any audio coming out of that? All right, we're going to take a quick time out while we wait. Mike Church here on the Crusade Radio Network. When news breaks out, we break in. And we are covering live Donald Trump's defiant, triumphant return to Butler, Pennsylvania, coming up in moments whenever the man hits the stage. And you'll hear it here live on the Crusade Radio Network. Live talking campaign radio the way it should be.
Time. The Crusade Radio Network. Live talk radio, campaign, and breaking news coverage the way it should be.
Silver and gold.
In these turbulent times, buying silver and gold is such a no-brainer that even snowmen know they should do it. Now, all precious metal dealers claim to be the best, but only one can claim they are endorsed by the KingDude, and that's Miles Franklin. My friend Andy Scheckman's a regular guest on my show and a regular genius when it comes to silver and gold, and I trust him with my silver and gold purchases, and so should you. So email Miles Franklin today for your exclusive Mike Church Show discount price list. info@milesfranklin.com. Hey folks, back in the day when women were women and men weren't, you only needed a half a dozen resources to keep up with the news and get reliable insight and commentary. Now with literally hundreds of thousands of choices, it's almost impossible to stay informed without previewing and fact-checking till your eyes turn MAGA red. That's why you should sign up for my new daily email newsletter, the Daily Truth Trilogy, with my quote of the day, lead show topic, and 3 stories you can't do without. Subscribing is easy and free at mikechurch.com/dude.
Did you know that the rosary began as a tool to give laity a form of common prayer, like what was being prayed in monasteries? And monasteries were praying all 150 psalms from the Bible. But most laity couldn't afford a Bible, and most couldn't read, so they began praying the Our Father 150 times a day. Today the rosary is prayed by millions, and each one is a work of art. There is no finer maker of this art than Maggie O'Connell and the Little Bayou Rosary. Find her rosary creations today at shop.mikechurch.com.
Hey, it's the King Dude for My Pillow. Mike Lindell sent me my first set of My Pillows 14 years ago. I loved them then, and I still love that same set of original My Pillows today. True story. Now, that's a testament to the craftsmanship and quality of the My Pillow. But don't take my word for it. Go try it for yourself. Use my unique code and get huge discounts and free shipping on all orders by going to mypillow.com/KingDude. That's mypillow.com/KingDude.
Listen up, maggots! Every time you buy a book at Scamazon, Jeff Bezos gets money to add to his army of Terminator robots. Now you tell me, what kind of patriot does that? Certainly not the kind that listens to the My Church Show! You want to see the world now, don't you?
Come with me if you want to read.
That's why you're going to shop for books in the Founders Trading Post store at shop.mikechurch.com. Be a hero, save the free world, and as for Bezos,
put him in the chopper.
We're
do you find gourmet coffee, great barbecue seasonings, and the best must-read books? Answer, the Founders Trading Post store.
Yeah, but how do we get folks to remember we sell so much more?
I got it. Remember the McDonald's jingle?
2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, and a sesame seed bun.
All right, Lou and I will buy.
Well, here goes. Rosary stickers, lapel pins, stuff on bees, t-shirts, ball caps, download CDs, and reading fun.
Thanks. Now Lou and I want a Big Mac.
The Founders Trading Post store really is stocked like a trading post at shop.mychurch.com. Big Mac sold separately.
Come on, Lou. You can finish your order in the car. Let's get a Big Mac.
If you're on a quest to make the perfect...
When the left tried to assassinate President Trump, only the Crusade Radio Network was there with hours of live, reliable coverage. And we'll be there for you next time. The Crusade Radio Network. Live talk radio, campaign, and breaking news coverage the way it should be.
All right, President Trump has finally arrived and is on the stage. We're just awaiting Lee Greenwood to be finished playing, but it looks like he's seen it live. So as soon as that is done, it looks like Lee is wrapping it up. We will take you live to the stage. So many of us and so many of you were here on that fateful day, 13 July of this year of 2024, a date which shall live literally in infamy. And that he has made it back here. They have bulletproof glass panes in front of where he's standing now. I wonder if they have the AGR building roof covered this time. I bet they do. So we're going to go live as soon as Greenwood is finished speaking or finished singing. Live to Butler, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is a must-win state, of course, and they all know that in the Trump campaign. They're probably going to spend a lot of time in the next 30 days. You live in Pennsylvania, you're probably going to get a Trump visit. You might even get a handshake or a hug. All right, looks like he is finished. Donald John Trump, ladies and gentlemen, here live on the Crusade Radio Network. When news breaks out, we break in. We are your news, talk, and campaign radio station. So subscribe to our YouTube channel, please. Subscribe to us on X at Veritas Radio Net, my personal X. Make a donation to support our work. CrusadeChannel.com/donate. Here's the president. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being with us today.
Lee, thank you very much, really, and thank you, a very big thank you to Pennsylvania. We love Pennsylvania, and as I was saying, oh, I love that. I love that chart. I love that graph. Isn't it a beautiful thing? But also beautiful because look at the number. That's the day I left office. It was the lowest Border Patrol, the lowest it's ever been. Illegal immigration. Today it's out of control. But I love it for other reasons, too. You know that. So thank you very much. And thank Lee and what Lee has done with that song. And it's such an honor to have it. I want to just let you know that tonight I return to Butler in the aftermath of tragedy and heartache to deliver a simple message to the people of Pennsylvania and to the people of America. Our movement to make America great again stands stronger, prouder, more united, more determined, and nearer to victory than ever before. We're going to make America great again. Going to win the election. Going to win the election. And to all Americans, whether you are Republican, Democrat, Independent, Conservative, or Liberal, or you have no label whatsoever, it makes no difference. Our movement, it belongs to you. It belongs to our country. It belongs to our country. And together in just 1 month, we are going to usher in a new golden age of American security, prosperity, sovereignty, and freedom for our citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed. Exactly 12 weeks ago this evening on this very ground, a cold-blooded assassin aim to silence me and to silence the greatest movement, MAGA, in the history of our country. MAGA. We love MAGA. For 16 harrowing seconds during the gunfire, time stopped as this vicious monster unleashed pure evil from his sniper's perch, not so far away. But by the hand of providence and the grace of God, that villain did not succeed in his goal, did not come close. He did not stop our movement. He did not break out our spirit. He did not shake our unyielding resolve to save America from evils of poverty, hatred, and destruction. Yet we are here this evening in record numbers. This is a big crowd. This is a big one. This is a big one. Not only to mark the triumph of American spirit, but over, and you know that this is really, truly, in the truest sense, spirit over evil and adversity, but also to pay tribute to some of the best and bravest we have ever known. This field is now a monument to the valor of our first responders, to the resilience of our fellow citizens, and to the sacrifice of a loving and devoted father, a really great man. You know that. Forever afterward, forever after, all who have visited this hallowed place will remember what happened here, and they will know of the character and courage that so many incredible American patriots have showed and know, and they know it at a level never seen before, probably. First, I want to thank the men and women of the U.S. Secret Service who threw their bodies on top of mine without even a thought for their own lives. They were on top of me so fast. They were on top of me, and there was not even a moment of doubt in their minds. You watch those tapes, not even a moment of doubt. I want to thank Secret Service. They're great, great people. They are great people. And in that moment, those agents displayed a devotion to duty that cannot be described, and they did it yet again less than 3 weeks ago when they really did a fantastic job. Another attempt. It was another attempt. We have an evil world. We have a very sick world. My gratitude to them is beyond measure. We also owe a tremendous debt, thanks to the Secret Service counter sniper and a local police sniper who returned fire within seconds and stopped the shooter quickly and saved many lives. If he didn't stop, he saved many lives. He had a lot of bullets, a lot of ammunition up there with him. And we are, just amazing when you think they did it so quickly without any knowledge of what was going on, boom. And had that not happened, it would have been a very different story. It would have been many, potentially many people. I also want to express our thanks to the Butler Township Police Department, incredible people. The Butler Sheriff's deputies, Pennsylvania State Police, and all of the other law enforcement heroes, as well as the emergency personnel and doctors, the medical teams at Butler Memorial Hospital, Allegheny General Hospital, who rushed me and rushed some of these very badly wounded people. They were wounded, a lot of badly wounded people, and in particular two people, and I tell you, they were very brave and great people. They were big Trump fans, and they still are. That means something. That was pretty amazing. You know, when I got up, I asked whether or not anybody was killed. I assumed that there would be a lot because I heard the bullets winging right over my head. They said probably 3. The doctors did such an incredible job. It was one great gentleman, but the other 2 have been amazing, actually. They've gone through it. They've gone through a lot. And when the crisis struck, they did really Pennsylvania proud. You've heard that expression, Pennsylvania proud. It's a great place. I went to school. I went to college in Pennsylvania. It's a great place. The people are incredible. Also, and I have to say, after returning to the field tonight, is one of the really brave Americans who was hit by the assassin's bullet, U.S. Marine veteran David Dutch. David, thank you. Thank you, David. Thank you, David. And David, we're thrilled to see your recovery is going well. Great doctors up here, I have to tell you, great doctors. Your courage is really an inspiration to us all, so I want to thank you very much, David. A great gentleman, great gentleman. I want to send our love to someone who could not be here because he has just undergone a major surgery related to the shooting. A man who was really badly wounded, like David, James Copenhagen, because James was a wonderful man, a big Trump fan. And Mr. Copenhagen is out there watching us right now, but he's in a hospital where they did some additional work, but he's in great shape. He wanted to be here so badly, but he's in great shape, and we appreciate it, and we're looking to his full and complete recovery. He will have a complete recovery. Thank you. Thank you very much. And of course, there's one more hero who could not make it back here tonight because he is no longer with us, right? You know who that is, right? Corey, our beautiful Corey. Corey is not with us tonight, and he should be. And we all miss him. He's become somewhat of a folk hero, I have to tell you. Who is with us is his beautiful wife and daughters and relatives, sister. Please, where are you? Where are they sitting? There they are. There's a lot of people. It's not easy to find people in this audience. Goes back further than you can see. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Great family, a great, incredible family. And he loved you a lot. And, you know, his wife said something very beautiful. The public, a lot of people, all of us, a lot of people have been very generous. And she said, I'd rather have my husband. That's a good thing to say. That's a good thing to say. I'd rather have my husband. Corey Comparator was an incredible husband and father, a devout Christian, a veteran, and a proud former fire chief, very respected within the town. Everybody knew him. Few men volunteered to run into fires, but Corey was one of those who did. He ran into fires. I spoke to people that were with this guy would do anything. He was brave, right? Brave guy like you. And he was also a protector who put his life on the line for others, and he loved doing it. And when the sound of gunshots pierced the air on that July evening, Corey leapt into the fire one more time. In his last seconds of this earth, he threw himself on the top of his wife and daughters. He didn't want them hurt. He threw himself. He said he knew what was happening. He didn't want them hurt. And he was hit hard. He was hit hard. And he gave his life to shield their lives. Every father and husband in America hopes that if the time came, we would have what Corey had. Tremendous courage, tremendous guts, and he wanted to protect his family, and he did protect his family. At this time, it is 6/11, 12 weeks to the minute that the shooting began. I would like to ask everyone to join me in a moment of silence. Now that is what you call a voice. One of the greatest opera singers in the world, and Christopher Macchio, who's truly a great talent, is going to be back when I leave, and I'm going to stay backstage watching every song. He's going to sing 3 or 4 great songs, Nessa Dorma and others. And so I wouldn't leave your seat too fast when we're finished today, but this is in honor of 3 great people, actually, 3 great, and in particular, Corey. And we appreciate it, but that is a real voice, isn't it, huh? That's not... What do you think, Mr. Future Vice President? Pretty good, right? I don't know if you could do that, J.D. I don't know. I don't think J.D. can do that. In the face of murderous hate, Corey answered the most selfless kind of love. We are joined this evening by Corey's incredible widow, Helen, his 2 precious daughters, Kaylee and Allison, and his sisters, Kelly and Dawn. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. This is an incredible tribute. This is a tribute like no other, and he deserves it. To Helen and the entire family, I can only begin to imagine the depths of your grief, but I want you to know that just like you, we will carry his memory in our hearts for as long as we live. Everybody in this stadium and everybody that was there on that tragic evening, we are thinking about Corey. We think about him a lot. I know he's looking down on us right now from heaven, smiling at his beloved wife and daughters and his mother, Karen, and his entire family. And he's with you, and he's going to be with us for a long time because, you know, some people just don't die in vain, and what he's left behind is incredible. And so God bless you, Corey. God bless you. Thank you very much. God bless you. You know, I just one little story. Helen told me that on the day that they came to the rally, Corey was really excited because somebody gave him great seats right up front here with the people from North Carolina, the ladies from North Carolina. This is their 227th rally. I don't know what's going on with them. Those beautiful ladies. But they always seem to have good seats. You know? But Corey had the best seat in the house, and he was telling his wife and family on the way over in the car, he said, I'm telling you, he's going to invite me up on the stage, because I do that sometimes. I take people, we invite them up on the stage. And she smiled, thinking it'll never happen. And little did anyone realize that Corey would be on the stage 3 months later in an almost immortal position. And that's where he is today. He's on the stage in I think it's a truly immortal position. So the love that he showed on that day and throughout his life is the love that sustains the entire movement, love that our families have, and it's love of our communities and love of our country. It's a force more powerful than any hatred and malice, because even in the darkest hours, it shines forth as a guide, and it guides us like nothing could ever guide us. It guides us really like a candle in the night. And so it's love like Corey's that is joining us to save our country, that's going to heal our country, and that is going to reunite our country as one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So what our opponents have never understood is that this movement has never been about me. It's always been about you. It's been about a lot of people, millions and millions of people, the biggest ever in the history of this country, maybe anywhere. And everyday people who are the heart and soul of our country. They love our movement, they love our country, and they know they're doing right. Your hopes are my hopes, your dreams are my dreams, and your future is what I am fighting for every single day. And now I have a great companion in J.D. Vance. How good was he the other night? How good? He was great. He was great. But from the very beginning of this journey, I've been on a mission to rescue our country from a failed and very corrupt political establishment, very corrupt. We have to change it. We have to change it. We need also a very free and open press, and to give it back to the country you believe in and I believe in. It's a country that we were born in and the country that you deserve. You deserve this. In that mission, I will never quit. I will never bend. I will never break. I will never yield, not even in the face of death itself. And I believe that every citizen deserves an America with a grand, very, very grand ambition, great opportunities, and limitless. We just want limitless potential. We want an America where you can get ahead and be proud of life and provide for your family in a really decent way, where we don't have crime. We have a fabulous military to protect us from evil. Everything has to be the best. We have to have the best schools. We have to have strong borders. We don't want bad people coming in and hurting us. We don't want to have open borders, do we? You deserve a government that protects and respects its own citizens, that defends your sovereignty, your security, and your dignity and your freedom. You deserve a nation that builds things, again, makes things better, that aims for the stars once more, and that once again commands respect. And we want to get respect like we had it 4 years ago. The entire world respected us. They respected us. They respected us more than they've ever respected us. And now they laugh at us. We can't have them laugh at us, can we? Above all, you deserve leadership in Washington that does not answer to the lobbyists, to the bureaucrats, or to the corrupt special interests, but answers only to you, the hardworking citizens of America, of which there are a lot of them. We have a lot of them. We have a lot of them. Over the past 8 years, those who want to stop us from achieving this future have slandered me, impeached me, indicted me, tried to throw me off the ballot, and who knows, maybe even tried to kill me. But I've never stopped fighting for you, and I never will. Never will. Never gonna stop. Thank you. Thank you. And in turn, you have always stood with me. You have always stood with me, no matter what. You saw what was going on. You saw the hoaxes and the scams. You saw everything that went on. We are a team. We're a great team, I think. We're probably the best team ever in the history of our country, if you really think about it. We've fought together. We have endured together. We have pushed onward together. And right here in Pennsylvania, we have bled together. We've bled. We've had 3 people that really got hit hard. 2 of them made it. Great doctors. Great doctors. They weren't supposed to make it. I wasn't supposed to make it. People said, my great doctor at Butler said, "Sir, you're the luckiest man alive. This would be a good time for you to go out and buy a lottery ticket." I've never seen anything like. I almost went out and bought a lottery ticket. I'll take it. And 31 days from now, here in this great Commonwealth and all across our land, we are going to win together. We are going to vote together. We're going to win the greatest election in the history of our country, maybe the greatest election all time. After we all have been through all of this together, nobody's gone through what we've gone through. Nobody. Because I go through it, you're going through it too. But there's never been anything like this. You know, I always say there's an enemy from within and there's an outside enemy. And if you're smart, the outside enemy is not going to be a problem. Russia, China, North Korea, we're not going to have a problem if you have a smart president. If you have not such a smart president, then it's a problem. But we have an enemy from within, which I think is much more dangerous than the outside enemy. We stand on the verge of the 4 greatest years in the history of our country. We can make these the 4 greatest years. We'll turn it around so fast that your head will spin. With victory on November 5th, we are going to redeem America's promise and unlock the extraordinary future that is just within our reach. It is now within our reach. Think of it, 1 month from today, 1 month. We got to get there. We got to get there. They'll drop all sorts of bombs. They'll be hitting you, JD. They'll be hitting me. These people, they'll hit and hit. But I think we've almost become immune to it, haven't we? We've become immune to it. You got a little dose of it, a couple of little doses. No, that's the only way. That's the only way they can even think about winning, with open borders. Who wants open borders? Who wants men playing in women's sports? Who wants sex change operations for illegal aliens in holding bins? No, I don't think so. We will begin a new era of soaring income, skyrocketing wealth, millions and millions of new jobs, and a booming middle class. We're going to boom like we've never boomed before. And we're going to unleash a manufacturing renaissance right here in Pennsylvania, including fracking like we've never fracked before. We're going to frack, frack, frack. You know, our opponent said, there'll be no fracking, no fracking. We'll never frack, we'll never frack. Then she started seeing poll numbers, by the way. And by the way, speaking of poll numbers, do you mind if I mention poll numbers? Because I only mention them when they're good. I'd never mention it. But one that's hit me really amazingly, Rasmussen, very highly respected poll. JD, it just came out. I don't think you heard this one, but this is a shocker. You know, they always say the Democrats will win the Hispanic vote, but we've been creeping up rather rapidly. And Rasmussen is one of the most respected polls. I mean, Republicans would get 4, 5, 6, 9, 10%. They just came out with a poll. 62% for Trump. Think of that. Think of that. And 34% for Kamala. I don't usually use her last name because nobody knows who I'm talking about. I go, Harris. They say, who's Harris? It's happening all the time. Who's Harris? And we can't find out who she is, because if we do, our country is going to be in big trouble. We will live in a very beautiful city or town that are safe and clean, with borders that are sealed and secure. And again, we want people to come into our country. We all want that. We need that. But you know what? We want them to come in legally. They're going to come in legally and love for our country. And America will once again be strong and confident and free. And we're going to have that. We're going to have it strong, confident, and free. That's why I'm here today. You know, I could right now be having a beautiful life. I don't have to be here. I could be on a gorgeous beach someplace. I have such nice property. I could be in Monte Carlo, as an example, but I'd rather be in Butler with you. I would rather. I'd rather be in Butler. And I think JD would rather be in Butler, JD. No, I'd rather be here, because we're doing something. You know, they get a lot of rich guys that go, nobody cares about them. I had one about a month ago, very, very rich guy, and he called me up. He said, President, I've known him for a long time. I don't say how long because I don't want my wife to hear that number. It's a long time. But he's very successful, and he said to me, sir, could you do me a favor? The guy's worth billions of dollars. He said, could you do me a favor? I can't get into a restaurant. Do you think you could call them to get me in? And I said, what the hell is the good of being rich if you can't get into a restaurant, right? And I called the maitre d'. Hi, I'm a little embarrassed. Hi, this is Donald Trump. I recognize your voice. I said, would you do me a favor? A friend of mine is online about a mile back. This is a very successful restaurant. And he's got his wife. I described the wife. Could you possibly go get them? Could you go get them and bring them in? And he did. And my friend called me up the next day. He said, thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, Doctor, please. Doctor in the house. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, doctor. Yeah, thank you. Take your time, doctor, please. We got plenty of time, right? We got a lot of time. You doing okay? Take your time. We've got to protect our people, right? Take your time. It's all right, doctor. Go ahead. That's all right. That's all right. People come out 2-3 days ago, and then they get it's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing. We appreciate. Everybody appreciates it. Yep. Take your time. That's great. That's great. Do we have the greatest people in the world? We have the greatest people in the world. First responders, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. Great job. Thank you very much. Thank you, all. Fellas. Thank you. First responders. Thank you very much. People are here for a long time, and we appreciate it very much. And so sometimes that happens. A lot of times that happens, actually. But she'll be great. You watch. So 12 weeks ago, we all took a bullet for America, and all we are all asking is that everyone goes out and votes. We got to win. We can't let this happen to our country. We can't take another 4 years like this. We won't have a country left. We're not going to have a country left. And all of this will be for nothing if you don't get out and vote. It will all be for nothing. We will have talked about it, and if we do it, it'll be the greatest achievement, I think, in the history of politics for all of us for this age. Because we're going to change our country around and fast. We're going to do things that nobody thought were possible. We're going to do them fast. So Pennsylvania, it's time to stand up for America and a time to save our country. This is really about saving our country. It's never been like this. When you look at the crime, look at the crime. Look at the people that are coming in, murderers. 13,099 murders let in over the last short period of time. Murderers that have been released from penitentiaries, prisons, jails, released into our country. Crime rates all over the world are down. They're taking their gang members and their criminals. They're taking their people in jail, and they're releasing them into our country. We can't have it. You know, we just can't have it. How do you get more simple than that? They're releasing murderers, they're releasing drug dealers, they're releasing gang members and criminals, human traffickers. Mostly they traffic in women, and they're releasing them all into our country, and they're emptying their jails, and their crime rates in Venezuela are way down because, you know, but it's not only in South America, it's all over the world, in Africa, the Congo. There are a lot of people coming out of the Congo in Africa. They're coming out from Asia. They're coming out from the Middle East, Yemen. They're coming out from Yemen. A lot of people coming out of Yemen. And they're known terrorists, and they just release them into our country from countries unknown also. They know nothing about the people. Oh, go right in. These people are crazy. And we have to win. We'll stop it immediately, and it will be a big deportation. We're going to deport these people. We're going to get them out of our country immediately, or we won't have a country. And if we win Pennsylvania, we will win the whole thing. The whole thing will be won. So for the sake of our families, for the sake of our children, we will keep on going. And as the expression goes, I mean, I'm a little embarrassed to say it, to be honest with you, but I'm going to say it because a lot of people do say it. We will fight, fight, fight. We're going to fight for our country. We're going to fight for our country. And together we will save this country. We will restore the republic, and America's future will be bigger, better, bolder, brighter, happier, stronger, freer and greater, and more united than ever before. Our country will be united. You'll watch. You'll watch. You know, we had the most successful country ever, maybe in the world, during my term. We had the greatest economy that we've ever had. And you know what was happening? We were uniting. The other side, radical left people were coming over. They wanted to meet. They were coming over. Women, men. If you look at population, our black population, our Hispanic population, our Asian population, everybody was doing better. People that went to the best schools and best colleges in the world got the highest marks, and people that couldn't get a high school degree, everybody was doing better, and our country was coming together. And then we got hit with COVID, a gift from China. Some people would call it the China virus. And we did a great job on that, too. We did a great job, but the world was disturbed. $60 trillion in damage worldwide, millions and millions of, tens of millions of people killed. And we still, during this 4-year period, we had the greatest economy, one of the great countries of the world. And we left with a stock market that was higher than it was just prior to COVID coming in. So what we did was something really incredible. But we had the greatest, most successful country ever. We had the greatest economy in our history, and we're going to do it again, and maybe even better. We learned a lot. We learned a lot about people and about doing things and what works and what doesn't work, and we're going to do it, and it's going to be quick. It's going to be quick. And we're going to have safe cities, and we're going to have great cities again, and we're going to have a capital in Washington, D.C., which is right now crime-ridden. You leave from the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, you drive down to Washington, D.C., and you drive down and you end up getting murdered, you end up getting hurt, you get mugged. We are going to straighten out Washington, D.C. We're going to make it again the most beautiful capital in the world. We're not going to have graffiti. We're not going to have graffiti on our marble columns. We're not going to have roads that have potholes all over them and medians that are falling into the highways. We're going to run it properly. We're going to change it. We're going to run it properly. It's an embarrassment to us. Can you imagine foreign leaders coming in and running over roads that haven't been paved in years? We're honored to be joined tonight by one of the people who is going to help us build this incredible future, and he is a truly incredible guy. And I don't say that often. He's a great gentleman. He's done such an unbelievable job for North Carolina, for Georgia, for Alabama, for Florida, for Tennessee. His name is Elon Musk. He saved free speech. He created so many different great things. Where is he? Come on up here, Elon. He created the first major American car company in generations, and his rocket company is the only reason we can now send American astronauts into space. Come here. Take over, Elon. Yes, take over.
Hi, everyone. As you can see, I'm not just MAGA, I'm dark MAGA. Well, first of all, I want to say what an honor it is to be here. And, you know, the true test of someone's character is how they behave under fire. And we had one president who couldn't climb a flight of stairs, and another who was fist pumping after getting shot. Fight, fight, fight. Blood coming down the face. Now, America is the home of the brave. And there's no truer test than courage under fire. So who do you want representing America? Yeah, absolutely. And I think this election, I think it's the most important election of our lifetime. This is no ordinary election. The other side wants to take away your freedom of speech. They want to take away your right to bear arms. They want to take away your right to vote effectively. You got 14 states now that don't require voter ID. California, where I used to live, is just passed a law banning voter ID for voting. I still can't believe that's real. So how are you supposed to have a proper election if there's no ID? It's just meaningless. And free speech is the bedrock of democracy. And if people don't know what's going on, if they don't know the truth, how can you make an informed vote? You must have free speech in order to have democracy. That's why it's the First Amendment. And the Second Amendment is there to ensure that we have the First Amendment. President Trump must win to preserve the Constitution. He must win to preserve democracy in America. Yes. This is a must-win situation. Must win. So I have one ask for everyone in the audience, everyone who watches this video, everyone on the live stream. This one request. It's very important. Register to vote. Okay, and get everyone you know, and everyone you don't know, drag them to register to vote. There's only 2 days left to register to vote in Georgia and Arizona. 48 hours. Like, text people now. Now. And then make sure they actually do vote. If they don't, this will be the last election. That's my prediction. Nothing's more important. Nothing's more important. So get everyone you know. So I'm speaking to people out there. Everyone in the crowd, I think, is already convinced. But for people out there that are watching the video, watching the live stream, you need to get everyone you know, at work, your friends, family, text groups, your social media, everything. Get them to register to vote right now. Only 2 days left for Georgia and Arizona. Only a couple weeks left in Pennsylvania. And if they're not registered to vote, it doesn't matter at that point. Register to vote. I'm being repetitive for a reason, okay? So nothing is more important. And a lot of people think maybe their vote doesn't count. Well, it does, okay? It does. It matters. And this election could be decided by 1,000 votes, 500 votes. A tiny margin. So get everyone you know to register to vote. I believe that's swapthevote.com. I believe that's the site. And double check that your registration is good. Don't take it for granted. I'm just being repetitive about this point because it is the one takeaway more than anything that will matter is getting those registrations and then getting everyone you know to actually vote. That is what will decide this election, especially in Pennsylvania. So thank you, and honestly, you want to just be a pest. Just be a pest to everyone you know, people on the street, everywhere.
What a great guy. And he'd rather be making rocket ships, because he'd really rather do that. Nobody better. I think he's got 90% of the rockets that go up. But Elon, thank you very much. Incredible, incredible. What he says is true. What he says is true. You know, we're all having fun here tonight, but if we don't register and if we don't vote, we're just going to look upon this as another sort of nice day in our life. But it won't even be a nice day. We're going to look back and we're going to say, wow, it's a lot of time, a lot of effort. We got to win. If we don't win, it's, as he said, it's just not important. We have to save our country, so you have to get out and vote. You got to get out and vote. You got to get your friends and vote because, you know, they play a lot of tricks, this particular other side. Elon's a very nice guy. He doesn't want to say it, but they play a lot of tricks. We can't let it happen. We can't let it happen again. We can't let it happen. And one thing, they showed us how bad they are. They showed us how bad a job they do. So that's one thing we got the last couple of days. They are doing, this is a Katrina for them. This is one of the worst, they say it's the worst job ever done on helping people through the ravages of a hurricane. And they're watching, she's out there campaigning in San Francisco, a place that she ruined, okay? She ruined San Francisco. She ruined, think of this, she ruined San Francisco. She was the worst DA, and she ruined the state of California, and now she wants to ruin the United States of America. We can't let her do it. So I called Elon to tell him that they needed Starlink as an example. They couldn't get Starlink. I didn't know what Starlink was, I must tell you. Elon, I'm so embarrassed. I didn't know what the hell Starlink was. He loves Starlink. He can tell you every little screw that's needed, every wire. Me, I didn't know. But when I was in North Carolina and Georgia,